One of the best parts about being here at Sony Kando is that you get access to all of this gear. Let's just look at that. There's all these camera bodies here, and it just keeps on continuing. More lenses here, and more lenses and cameras here. And I thought, since Sony just released last week the brand new 85mm 1.4 Mark II, I thought that in today's video, we're gonna go out and test it. And there's only two guys I would love to shoot with this morning.
Yeah.
This is a cool gang with the sunglasses.
Yeah. What a reunion! So if I'm totally candid with you guys, in the past, I've actually never really shot with the 85mm because I've always just felt like they're really chunky lenses and the autofocus hasn't been that reliable. But now, with Sony releasing the 85mm 1.4 Mark II, they've made it a lot lighter, 180 grams specifically, and they said it's 3 times faster when it comes to its autofocus. So really interested to see when I'm taking out photos, and especially for video, how does the autofocus work? Is it able to follow when someone's moving towards me and just keep its paces? So I'm gonna test out, get some cool B-roll, shoot some photos with the 85mm, and then I'll tell you my experience with this lens. Some concerns that people did have about this brand new 85mm was the fact that it's not a 1.2, and on paper I understand if all the other 85mm out there are 1.2, but in my opinion, do you really need 1.2? Like, I think the bokeh is already super creamy and you're getting enough light out at 1.4. So in my opinion, it's not the biggest deal, but I do understand that on paper, it can concern some people. 85mm 1.4?
Yes, the
Mark
new
II?
one.
What do you think?
Own the previous version, and I do photography with it from time to time. I mean, I've seen what you can produce with this, and it's fantastic. And people are raving so hard here at the moment about the newer version, the GM2. So what do you think?
So far, I'm impressed. You guys let us know. You saw some of the photos that I took. Just thought I'd quickly pop in here and tell you about my experiences with the Sony 85mm 1.4 Mark II. But first, I gotta give a big thanks to Sony Nordic for inviting me to the Sony Kando event. It was just awesome to meet up with a whole bunch of creators because, as you all know and I know, that sometimes being a YouTube content creator is quite lonely. Most of the time, you're by yourself, so these kind of events are a big treat for me personally, just getting to connect with a whole bunch of creators, old and new friends coming together, and it's always a great time. So thank you, Sony Nordic, for inviting me. But back to the Sony 85mm 1.4 Mark II. If I'm brutally honest, in the past, I haven't used 85mm lenses that much because I've always felt they're quite chunky and the autofocus is always hunting and just not that reliable, especially for video. So that's why when Sony announced that they are gonna release a brand new 85mm, I was curious. I was curious to see what would be the shooting experience. Now, mind you, I only did have a few hours with this lens, but the quick shooting experience that I had, I was quite impressed because, like I said, in the past with the 85mm, I felt like the focus was not that fast. It was hunting a lot, especially for a video, which was very loud and clunky. But with the 85mm 1.4 Mark II, autofocus, really reliable, really quick, smooth. The image quality coming out of it, the photos, I shot both photos and video, really nice contrast, sharpness, and the bokeh, just really nice creamy bokeh. I mean, mind you, we did have just beautiful light that day because we had this really amazing mist coming in there, just giving us this natural softbox for the sun. But still, the lens performed really well. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about the brand new Sony 85mm 1.4 Mark II. Are you concerned that it's not a 1.2 lens? What are features that you're excited about that lens, and will you be getting it for yourself? All right, it's time to hop on the plane and fly back home to Helsinki.